We reclaim only roughly 13% of the rainwater that falls. And Southern California, I hate to tell you this, since I lived here all my life, Southern California is a desert, officially. It is officially, by definition, a desert. It does not, the reason, gentlemen ask, why is there always seemingly a drought in California? The reason there's always a drought in California is there are too many people here. Plus, the state of California created a Department of Drought Management. And of course, once the government creates a Department of Drought Management, they will always have to have droughts to manage. So they'll just change the definitions and say, I'm just teasing. But there's more than a little truth to that, I'm afraid. So I always teach, when I teach geography and archaeology at the seminary, I talk to students about the fact that there's a reason Jerusalem was built. There's a reason Hatzor was built. There's a reason all of these cities were built, and there's a reason that when they were destroyed, you'd build a new city right on top of them in the exact same place. And it's not because the insurance paid them to rebuild them. It was different than, there's a reason the city was there strategically or resource-wise or something like that. 200 years ago, you couldn't have this many people in California. There would be no way to sustain the population. Even 100 years ago. And so what happened in Southern California is, as the population began to grow, the city of Los Angeles created a department called the Department of Water and Power. The Department of Water and Power is a fun little agency. They went up. Now, most of you have never seen this before. Maybe some of you have seen pictures. Some of you are old enough. Maybe you drove up 395 way back when, or at least heard this from your parents. And you go by Lake Owens, the Owens Dry Lake Bed. Owens Dry Lake Bed in the 20s and 30s had steamships traveling across it from one side to the other. It was a great vacation and recreational area. The Department of Water and Power bought all the land around it, so they got all the water rights and they drained it dry. That's to bring all of the water here. There's one place, there's a little city up in Northern California called Lee Vining. Anyone know where Lee Vining is? You go up past Mammoth, there's another place called Lee Vining. There's a real radical environmentalist bookstore in there that I love going to when I'm up there. You can buy dartboard pictures of the chief engineer of the Department of Water and Power for the city of Los Angeles. You can throw darts at it there. Because they also started draining Mono Lake. Remember all the controversy about Mono Lake? And so, Mono Lake, the city got caught on this one. This has nothing to do with the Bible. So, the Mono Lake, they got caught on this one because the city was draining Mono Lake dry, just like they had drained Owens Lake dry. But in Mono Lake, there were these mineral formations that began to be formed from the evaporating water, and the water was being drained away. And so the residents went and got this lake declared a natural something or other monument. And the city of Los Angeles, we don't want that to happen. So I tell you what the city says, we don't really need your water. We'll fill it all back up again. So they were going to fill the lake back up so the deposits would go away. And so they would have no reason to make this just be another lake. But the people says, no, we don't want you to fill our lake back up. We don't want you to do anything with it. We like these deposits. And so it's kind of I know that when being with the LA Police Department, we at one time had 25 officers in the city of Los Angeles assigned to Department of Water and Power facilities, guarding them up in the Northern California area because they were always trying to destroy them for probably good enough reasons if you don't want to have all your lakes destroyed. But that's what's going on there. So why are there droughts? The modern technology and modern advances in science allow civilizations and cities to exist where they couldn't before. They can bring water here. If you read about the Middle Eastern kingdom in Dubai, all the fun things they're doing, building islands. They built an island with all the resorts and things. They built an island just off their coast and didn't realize, apparently, that if you build an island out in the middle of the ocean, it will affect the water currents. And so the water currents were hitting this island they built and were going around, and they were eroding out the existing lakes, the existing shorelines, and moving sand and making the island that they built bigger, but it was also destroying millions of dollars worth of property over here. It's kind of a fun. The law of unintended consequences, which we'll talk about in a bit. It's like, do you remember when the up in an island up in the Pacific Northwest, they had some kind of problems, and so they introduced rabbits. And the rabbits, they had something that was growing and the rabbits would eat, but the rabbits populate and overran, and so they introduced dingo dogs to kill the rabbits. You know, it's like what was that old nursery rhyme with the kids? The gal who swallowed a fly. Yeah. I don't know why she swallowed the fly, swallowed the cat, the dog, and everything else. Why are there no tornadoes and hurricanes in California? Essentially, I mean, occasionally a rare tornado once in a while. A hurricane, by the way, even though we are slightly lower in Southern California, we're roughly on the same equatorial plane as the East Coast. You can get hurricanes that will hit Newfoundland, that will hit New York City, all along the eastern seaboard, all the way up to Boston and into Canada. Why not here in California? There's only one tropical storm on record to ever hit California. It was in 1939. Actually, 4 tropical storms hit California within about a 2-month period, and that was the Long Beach tropical storm. It doesn't happen because the water in the Pacific Ocean is typically too cold. And so we very rarely get anything like that here. Same reason we don't get tornadoes, especially here in our area, even though the weather often is suitable for it. I remember coming home one night some years ago, and we had a nice V-shaped cloud right over the 14 freeway up past our house towards Acton. But because of the topography, the land isn't level. Tornadoes like nice, flat, level ground. And they like it to be just like this picture here. That's kind of a cool tornado. I saw that picture. I thought I would add it to the collection. But we don't get tornadoes. We don't get hurricanes here. Almost never. Occasionally we'll get the remnants of a hurricane that will become like a tropical depression by the time it gets here. But a regular named storm hasn't hit Southern California since 1939. And that's because of the lay of the land, basically. Last thing, are earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanoes part of the weather? Technically, no. But they all get lumped in. They are called weather-related phenomena. Earthquakes, obviously, and the tsunamis or the tidal waves that are generated by earthquakes are part of the geology, the geography of the land. Volcanoes the same way. All of these things can create weather. They can all adversely affect weather, like the volcano picture we saw, but they're not technically weather. Weather is the atmosphere, everything that you see above the ground. What about global warming? What about global warming? There it is. Now I know all about it. I have it right down. Global warming, what about it? Global warming, what is now being called climate change. It's the concept that the earth is getting warmer because of human activity. In a nutshell. Now, the 10 pages that on the handout here, if you didn't get one, if you'd like one, you can email or give me your email address when we're done. I'll send you one where I interact with the Evangelical Climate Initiative, the people that are Christians that are involved in this deal, trying to convince the government to do something about this. The warming is viewed as having numerous adverse and potentially catastrophic consequences for civilization. And they're this Christian-based leadership group trying to fight global warming. Is the Earth getting warmer? The answer is yeah. Since 1880, the average temperature of the Earth, which is about when we started recording data, has risen 2 degrees. That's indisputable. Nobody, and I that is caused by man. I don't deny global warming. But from about, in 1850, the world came out of what is known as the Little Ice Age.